Travel with Catholic Communications in August 2022 for the pilgrimage of a lifetime as we experience the famous Oberammergau Passion Play. Join pilgrimage leader Father Gary Daly for the spiritual journey to Germany and the village of Oberammergau, where since 1634 the Passion Play has been presented every 10 years in this quaint alpine village. Our 10-day pilgrimage from August 4th to the 14th will begin in Brussels, Belgium, and continue through Cologne, Heidelberg, Oberammergau, and Munich, Germany. With breakfasts and dinners included, pilgrims will enjoy daily Mass in many of Germany's brilliant cathedrals and churches, a cruise on the Rhine River, a visit to the Schönstatt Pilgrimage Shrine, dedicated to the Blessed Virgin, and to Munich's famous Glockenspiel. Book this incredible pilgrimage now for $5,439. For more information, go to iobserve.org.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel,
a new ministry for couples who've lost children to miscarriage. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
I'm Nick Morganelli. I'll take you to the Red Mass, where the St. Thomas More Society honors those in our legal community.
and a visit to the construction site for the new Newman Catholic Center at UMass Amherst. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. The Newman Catholic Center at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst has been located in the heart of the campus since 1963. You may remember that just over a year ago, in August of 2020, after several years of careful consideration, the property at 472 North Pleasant Street was sold to the university for $12.5 million. With the Diocese of Springfield announcing a new state-of-the-art center would be built across the street under a 99-year land lease with the university. Well, in mid-June, that construction project got underway. At the same time, the Newman Center is currently conducting a $2 million capital campaign to help fund the new building. As I discovered during a recent visit, things are well underway and the excitement is building. The site work is complete and footings and foundation walls are up, and construction of the new $9 million Newman Center is moving along quickly. The 19,000 square foot building will include a chapel, research area with study rooms, lounges, a cafe, offices, a conference room, outdoor gathering and dining spaces, and gardens.
We were just standing what would be at the south side of the new Newman Center Chapel. We're on the high side here. This is where the altar will be, where we looked in. Over right now we have all the footings in for the entire building.
Mark Harridan, construction superintendent for Northampton-based D.A. Sullivan, says workers hope to have the exterior done before winter hits.
Once our steel is erected, then we can begin our framing and sheathing of the exterior. At that point, we can get a roof on top, and if we go to winter conditions, whether it be fiber meshed tarps of sorts that we can wrap the building in and get us into winter conditions where we can actually have the building heated with temp protection and get us through the winter.
Newman Center chaplain Father Gary Daly says some permit delays did push back the start, but once the workers helped him to bury 5 religious medals, including St. John Paul II, the Blessed Mother, St. Michael, St. Benedict, and a crucifix in the chapel's foundation, things have been going like clockwork.
To have those saints and Our Lady and Jesus and St. John Paul II and just part of the blessing of this chapel and the entire building.
It'd be hard to find it in the concrete, but in the same note, whatever blessing it is giving us. I mean, we've had a ton of rain here. We're on the bottom of the hill at UMass. We've been extremely fortunate to not have been flooded or any of that. I mean, one time it rained here for 6-7 days straight, and we kept the dirt out of the roads, we kept the storm water clean, so already we're being blessed by what little pieces he has given us.
While construction continues, Newman's capital campaign, Miracles Happen When Heart Speaks to Heart, has raised $1.6 million of its $2 million goal.
We trust that the Friends of Newman, not only in this area but throughout the country, will come forward and generously give so that we can not only make that goal but go over our goal so that we can make this a reality for our students for many decades to come.
By March of 2022, workers hope to have the exterior completely sheathed and framed, with interior finishing to begin in May. In the meantime, wherever you are in the world, you can keep track of the progress live.
We've placed a camera on our present Newman Center, which we're renting at this point, on our roof, which shows the construction 24/7 they can watch. All they need to do is to go on our website, newmanumass.org, and just to click on the thing, follow the instructions, and just watch it. And I think as the building comes up out of the ground, the watching of that will be more exciting for sure.
The project is expected to be completed in August of 2022.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel-to-Reel News Briefs. This past Thursday, the church marked the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary, and in anticipation of that, the Dominican nuns of the Monastery of the Mother of God in West Springfield held their annual Rosary devotions last Sunday. And as Carolee McGrath tells us, it was a day to celebrate St. Dominic, who originally received the Rosary devotion from the Virgin Mary.
People joined in song and prayer at the Dominican Monastery of the Mother of God in West Springfield for Rosary Sunday devotions. The service included scripture readings, a homily, the Rosary, prayer intentions, and benediction of the Blessed Sacrament. The Dominican Lay Fraternity of the Mother of God helped to organize the event.
Today was Rosary Sunday, where we come to pray the rosaries, and we also do a benediction. And we all come in community, especially the lay fraternity, to honor the Blessed Mother and pray for hope and peace and for end of abortion as well.
During the service, people received blessed roses.
It's a sign of the Blessed Mother, and what we do is we can press these roses afterwards and put them in a book and preserve them because they're blessed. We can also share them with others by giving them to someone who's sick or homebound.
In his homily, Dominican Father Augustine Judd, the chaplain for the Dominican nuns, explained the power of the Rosary, saying the Rosary helps draw us closer to Mary and helps us see through her eyes the mysteries of the life of Jesus.
It's one of the mottos of the Dominican Order, who've been the principal promoters of the Rosary in the Church, that we should contemplate and then give to the world the fruits of our contemplation. And so Rosary is perfect for that. As we are drawn further into the mysteries of Christ and His Mother, we begin to see our own opportunities to respond to the Lord the way that Mary responded to her son's life.
October is dedicated to the Holy Rosary. The Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary was October 7th. In West Springfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And in related news, Bishop William Byrne appointed Dominican Father Augustine Judd to the diocesan position of delegate for consecrated life. Father Judd also currently serves as chaplain for the Dominican nuns at the Monastery of the Mother of God in West Springfield. In his new role, he will serve as liaison between religious priests, sisters, and brothers who serve in the diocese and the bishop. Father Judd is a native of Farmington, Connecticut. He completed degrees at George Washington University and the Pontifical Faculty of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., and studied at the University of Fribourg in Switzerland. He was ordained a Dominican priest in 1996. And finally, the blessing of the animals was held at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield last Sunday on the eve of the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. Parishioners brought their pets to the cathedral for a special blessing to keep them healthy and happy in the coming year. Sharon Rollier has the story.
And so we begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Dogs and cats and their owners gathered on the lawn of the cathedral for the traditional blessing in honor of St. Francis of Assisi. the patron saint of animals and great lover of all of God's creation.
It reminds us in this month of October, a month dedicated to life, that all life is from God, and animals help us in our own lives and share in the blessing as a created thing. And we are delighted to have so many different pets, and they all got along and there were no fights.
Janet Echeverria of St. Mary's Parish in Longmeadow brought her Cocker Spaniel Lucy to the event.
I thought it would be nice to give Lucy a little extra blessing to keep her healthy and for her for the year and for many years, hopefully.
Ed Paprocki, also from St. Mary's in Longmeadow, brought along his 11-year-old short-coated collie, Lucky, who happens to be a therapy dog.
These guys give us so much. So it's a little thing we can give back to them, and it gives them a chance to get out with a lot of their companions that they don't get necessarily see all the time. And hey, it doesn't hurt to get a little bit of blessing.
All the animals received a sprinkling of holy water as Monsignor Conley reminded those attending that animals are symbolic reminders of the gift of salvation, as they were saved from the flood and afterwards made a part of the covenant with Noah.
Remember, you can always stay informed on all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally and beyond by logging on to iobserve.org. There you can read articles from our Catholic communication staff, as well as view on-demand episodes of Real to Real. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Real to Real news briefs.
Thanks, Dan, and there's still much more ahead on Real to Real. 8 members of the St. Thomas More Society were honored at the annual Red Mass. And a look at Zelly's Hope, a new ministry helping couples who've lost a child through miscarriage or stillbirth. Carolee McGrath will have that story. These stories and more still ahead on Real to Real.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
see one, two, two,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
October is Respect Life Month, and dedicated in a very special way to stand up and defend those who have no voice, to protect their lives, from the unborn to the elderly to the sick and all those in between. So join me this month in praying the Rosary, in working towards defending life at all its stages, to do what we can to protect those who have no voice, and we need to be their voice. So God bless, and please work for life this month.
The Rosary still kept me, made me connected to my faith, and I didn't really lose my faith.
Even while churches across the country were closed, enough supplies to make 5.2 million rosaries was shipped out from the headquarters of Our Lady's Rosary Makers in Louisville last year. Thousands of Catholics across the country kept spirit and hands busy, Some even delivered supplies to shut-ins.
One lady wrote saying how she went around and she did not know what her elderly rosary makers would have done if they didn't have rosaries to make without being going to church, etc., etc.
The Louisville organization sells rosary-making kits at low cost. The goal is simply to provide tools for evangelization. Founded in 1949 by a Xaverian brother, today the group ships supplies across the country and around the world.
This will be going to Florida, Texas, New York.
Just kind of lift your spirits because you see all these people ordering. This is so sweet.
Once completed, most of the rosaries are given out freely at parishes, hospitals, schools, nursing homes, and colleges. Tens of thousands are also sent back to the Rosary Makers headquarters each year to be mailed to missionaries around the world.
I get emails and letters from many priests and sisters and bishops asking for rosaries for their parish needs. I'd say most of mine go to Africa and India. I just sent a box to Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, just pretty much everywhere.
This year, some of the rosaries are also providing comfort to those international communities most affected by the pandemic, like India, where skyrocketing cases have overwhelmed hospitals.
I got this letter this morning, I was reading it, it's from India, and they talk about the lockdown. Of course, that creates unemployment. The unemployment creates hunger situations. So this priest was just saying how bad they need them.
The Rosary Makers say the quintessential Marian prayer is beloved for its power and its simplicity, which even a pandemic can't change.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
It's been described by popes, among many others, as just a great teaching tool. It's a simple prayer. It's a prayer for children. It's a prayer for adults.
People don't realize how much power that a rosary has. I think people have gotten jobs, like from me saying the rosary. I really believe that, and I think it's brought down strongholds by just me saying the rosary. You think something simple couldn't be that powerful, but it is.
Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now.
Some years ago, remarking that some Catholics tend to avoid sitting in the front pews during Mass, a priest co-worker in the diocesan offices made this comment: "If you love someone, you want to be near them." The priest was referring to the Eucharistic liturgy, when we believe that the bread and wine become the true presence of Jesus Christ. While some people have legitimate reasons for sitting in the back of the church, the upcoming Year of the Eucharist in the Springfield Diocese may provide an opportunity for Catholics to be nearer to Jesus, physically and spiritually, through adoration, holy hours, Eucharistic processions, and other special activities and devotions outlined in the cover story of the October issue of the Catholic Mirror. This issue also features reflections on World Youth Day 2016 from local Catholic young adults, the new principal of St. Mary Parish Elementary School in Westfield, details of a special children's religious artwork contest, the new president of Thomas Aquinas College in Northfield, and the final report of the Independent Task Force on the response to sexual abuse in the Diocese of Springfield. Also in local news, you will find a report on the diocese's annual Blue Mass, which included commemorations of the 20th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks on the United States. Our parish angel, Diana David of Southwick, puts her relationship with Jesus in action by becoming his hands in service to those in need in her parish and her community. Bishop Byrne urges readers to take the first step on the Eucharistic journey to renewal and transformation. After a time of separation from in-person Masses and during some ongoing restrictions, we welcome the invitation from our bishop and from Christ himself to be honored guests at the Eucharistic table, no matter where we sit during Mass. At the editor's desk, I'm Rebecca Drake.
And this month, a special collection is being taken up to help offset the parish's share of the cost of providing the Catholic Mirror to every Catholic household. Thank you in advance for your generosity. The annual Red Mass, a special liturgy celebrated for members of the legal profession, was held last weekend at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield. Springfield Bishop William Burns celebrated the Mass honoring 8 special members of the St. Thomas More Society for their good works. Nick Morganelli has the story.
8 legal professionals chosen by the St. Thomas More Society were this year's honorees last Sunday at the annual Red Mass at St. Michael's Cathedral. Friends, family, and past honorees attended in support of this year's recipients. Bishop Burns celebrated in the traditional red vestments, and he blessed the medals.
We ask you to bless these medals. May these symbols enliven the hearts and faith of those who receive them, and may they strive to be transformed into the likeness of Christ your Son.
And prayed for the 8 recipients, as well as those in the legal profession in our diocese.
The Red Mass is a great joy because it focuses, it looks at these people who've committed themselves to law and to justice, and to see how they've done that by their faith, to make sure that they're not just doing human justice, but allowing God's mercy in and through the work that they do every day.
St. Thomas More, a lawyer, stood on principles of justice, was a patron saint of the poor, helped to establish the parliamentary privilege of free speech, and died for the principles of justice he lived by.
To highlight the good works of attorneys and people in the legal community so that we can set a good example for younger members of the bar like myself and our colleagues.
St. Thomas More Society Director Michael McDonough tells us they look for outstanding acts of public service and commitment to justice in an honoree.
We recognize people of all faiths, and so what we look for are lawyers with high ethics, lawyers who are committed not only to their practice, but going beyond their practice, doing things for nonprofit initiatives, doing things for religious organizations, their community.
As with any career, the legal profession has its ups and downs, its stressful days, but it also can be very rewarding.
This is a great honor today for both myself and my husband. We've both been involved with the St. Thomas More Society since we became lawyers, because with everything in my life, I try to, just do the next right thing and remember that, a lot of the stuff that stresses us out in our daily lives, we have to, keep bringing it higher up and maintain that as our focus.
Jeffrey Trant was humbled that the diocesan office he directs was recognized by the Society this year.
As the director of the Office of Safe Environment and Victim Assistance, certainly my work and the mission of my office is truly focused on helping to bring justice and healing for victims and all those who have been harmed by clergy sexual abuse.
The law was not just about building up the community. The law was there to help keep the community focused on God. God had a rescue mission for humanity.
These faith-filled honorees are part of that rescue mission, and in more ways than one have set the bar higher, pun intended. In Springfield, for Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And our congratulations to all. Well, October is Respect Life Month, a time when the Catholic Church focuses on protecting all human life, from conception to natural death. Our final story this week focuses on the very painful issue of miscarriage. There's a new program being held at St. John the Evangelist Church in Agawam, helping couples who've lost a child to miscarriage or stillbirth. It's called Zelly's Hope Ministry. Carolee McGrath has more.
On a recent Sunday at St. John the Evangelist Parish in Agawam, Jennifer McManus and Tasha Marinack handed out literature about a new ministry, Zelly's Hope Ministry, for parents who have lost children to miscarriage or stillbirth. Special intentions were offered during Mass for parents and children. Both Jennifer and Tasha understand all too well the pain of miscarriage. Jennifer and her husband have 5 children.
I mean, I have a personal connection in the sense that I've had several losses. And I guess there's a few of us who just feel like there's not a lot of outreach and not a lot of help. I'm in a group of Bible study moms. I'm a homeschooler, so I have this community of a rich Catholic sisterhood, I guess, that I don't know that everybody has that. And so trying to just reach out to those people who maybe don't have that.
St. Zélie Martin was the mother of St. Therese of Lisieux. She and her husband, St. Louis Martin, had 9 children, but lost 4 of them at a young age.
But she said that they would be with her in heaven someday, right? So because we know she's rather a modern saint, right? So we know a little bit more about her, and she was a married saint, she had children. So we want, Zélie's Hope wants to give other parents hope for heaven someday, right, with their children lost.
Tasha and her husband Leo, who shared their witness recently at Faith on Fire, have been married for 2 years and lost a child to miscarriage.
At first, I didn't know how to cope with it, but there was different things in the Catholic faith that we could do. So we had our child's name in the Shrine of Divine Mercy. So they have a Holy Innocents shrine that we have dedicated there, a plaque with their name.
For all the parents out there who have lost any children due to miscarriage or stillbirth, we too have our loss, and we know the pain and the suffering that they go through, and we just want to give them hope by saying, like, hey, look, your children are now saints in heaven.
Another helpful resource is this book, Our Baby is a Saint in Heaven. It was written by Jane Seaver, who wrote it for siblings who also grieve when a couple miscarries.
Because I know I had trouble finding something when we lost a child 30 years ago.
Jane and Jack Seaver have 6 children. Jane miscarried and also lost a baby soon after birth.
That one was particularly hard for my son, was 3, and he was waiting for that baby, and it's hard when they don't come home and they're waiting for it. And he was very young, but that affected him very deeply.
Jane says the idea for the book came one day when she was praying.
Then it all came to me in adoration. It just poured out of me, and I just wrote it down. And I got home, and my granddaughter said she wanted to draw pictures to go with it. So she illustrated it, and she's 8 years old at the time. And so it all came together very quickly.
The book is available on Amazon and was one of the many resources available to people after Mass. The ministry has already attracted a lot of attention on social media, as many couples expressed a need for support.
That our faith helped us safely mourn instead of going away from God. We wrapped ourselves within the love and grace of God.
And Tasha says God is holding their children in the palm of his hands. In Agawam, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And for more information on Zélie's Hope, call the parish office at St. John the Evangelist at 413-786-8105. And just a reminder that the 40 Days for Life campaign continues through the end of October. Join Bishop William Byrne this Monday morning at 10:30 outside 3550 Main Street in Springfield to participate in a peaceful, prayerful Stand Out for Life. For more information on the 40 Days for Life, we have a link at diospringfield.org. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world on our news and information site, iobserve.org, and also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. I'll see you right back here next week for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.